and welcome to FinextraTV. I'm Liam Xavier and you join us at the Communify Intelligence Experience. With me right now is Kevin Barr, an independent board director at Communify. Lovely to have you with us.
Hello, Liam, how are you?
Very good, how are you?
Good.
So if we talk about AI in wealth management, it's taken a lot of the legwork for some of the wealth managers around the world. How can they differentiate when it comes to the human relationship factor when you think about these other firms using potentially similar AI models?
Right. Liam, I think that's the biggest change opportunity that firms have by implementing AI. AI has been taking the technology implementation a step forward from what traditionally has been around improving operations, improving efficiency. But I think the opportunities with AI really bring to the front office the ability for firms to go ahead and differentiate themselves by actually building better advice models, by building better communication models, by using stories with the existing portfolios that clients have, and bringing the portfolios to life with data, with information, but then putting it into context that ultimately the investor can really understand.
And if we're already talking about new technologies, stablecoins has come up a lot, and if we think about portfolio construction and this need to diversify, people are seeing potentially the use of stablecoins to stabilize an area of that diversification to then be more risky in other areas. Is this still the way to go?
Well, diversification has always been the way to go, and we haven't had a lot of volatility in the markets until recently, and then all of a sudden we've seen quite a bit of volatility. So diversification is still a very effective implementation around wealth management. Asset allocation is not going away. And when we think about portfolio construction, we have to think about how do we do that allocation, and certainly having a component of your assets in a stability function within that portfolio is very important. Stablecoins has been an implementation that's very attractive because it is a stable price. Similar to money markets, similar to fixed income products, the canary in the coal mine is always going to be what is that stability coin based on as far as the underlying value. And so it still requires due diligence. It requires the benefits of having an advisor to do that due diligence for you, and ultimately understanding what you're buying. But certainly, I think it's an implementation approach that people are considering.
And there's different shapes for different people, but is there a particular model of portfolio construction that excites you, or something that separation in percentages of where people are actually investing? Is that an area?
And I think this is one of the byproducts of AI is the fact that there's so many new products that are coming to market. The challenges are really understanding what those products are. The big focus right now has been around alternative investments, and what we've been seeing is the democratization of alternatives. However, they are much more complex. They're strategies that tend to maybe not have as much, the advisor market doesn't have as much knowledge around those products. But what AI can do is actually go ahead and help support that intelligence. And from my perspective, the ability to go ahead and have exposure to alternatives is one of the real big changes that we're seeing in portfolios today. For even the most common investor is getting the opportunity that traditionally has been reserved for a institutional investor.
And it might be a simple thing of just get an advisor, but when you have these alternatives and AI is giving you these extra information, is there an easy way to interpret that and figure out what's best for you?
Well, certainly, it's a multi-step process, and that's the benefit around wealth management and advice. First, understanding what your needs are and what your goals are, then being able to construct the underlying assets to support those goals. So I think one of the benefits that you're looking for is how do you provide that diversification? And what we've seen over time is that certain assets, while they may be perceived to be non-correlated, ultimately become very correlated. So being able to go ahead and use a diverse set of products that would include illiquid strategies as well as liquid strategies provides greater levels of diversification to allow clients to go ahead and achieve their goals, but at the same time deal with situations like we're having today where we're having increased volatility in the marketplace.
It's really interesting, all the great insights there. Almost sounds that the best thing to do is not just put all your eggs in one basket by the sounds of it.
It's always been the case. We get lulled into periods where we don't have a lot of volatility, and it seems like things are working in spite of what we do. But in reality, these periods are going to be changing, and we do have periods where we have uncertainty in the marketplace, and we have markets that become uncorrelated, as we are seeing today, and that's when having that diversified portfolio really starts to pay off for investors.
Amazing. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.